This is Mike with Reformation Garden, and today I am potting up some golden rain trees. There we go, there's 2 left in that, another 10 here, and I got about another 20 in the greenhouse. Looked like a lot of them in the middle here didn't pop up, but that's okay. It's probably about 50 here, so, and some of them are probably doubles. I think I planted most of them just one. Yeah, these are all just ones. But I've got a lot of other things to do, like plant out some of this peppers, tomatoes, eggplant. Because I had just finished mounding up some good soil or mulch, broke down mulch, compost mixture. Plus I dug out this trench here that was empty and had 2 years worth of mulch, and some of the soil kind of fell in both sides. Dug that out. Now it's like a modified chinampa. It's full of water, or it's a swale that actually you can see the water. Before it was just kind of like a mulched in swale, so it didn't hold too much water in regards of like a huge rainstorm, but it did keep the water in place with the mulch and help break it down quicker. So I actually have corn planted mostly all the way until about right here. Excuse me, a little bit further. Now I'm going to start mixing in other things. Like I'm letting this go to seed so I can collect that for next year. Like around this tree here. I'm actually putting trees on the edges too, just to eventually have this whole thing have trees. So this is a native. Currently can't remember the name of it, but I did put some purple basil down, which looks like it's turning green again. It's kind of attacked today. Tomato, eggplant, honey locust. That's a 4 o'clock right there. I'm not sure what color, we'll see here soon. I had this planted maybe a month or so ago. This looks like the basket gourd. I've got ginger planted from last year, so ginger and arrowroot should be popping up, and turmeric should be all popping up on the edges of a lot of the hugels. You can see on the second one here, I got that Okinawa spinach, and that made it through the winter, which I'm shocked. And I have the Mexican sunflower, which I can't wait for it to get a little bit denser on the stalk so I can actually clip them off and start replanting them in different areas, because this is a great green manure. I do have castor and okra seeded in this hugel, along with other places on the property. Got my crepe myrtle trees, 1, 2, and I bought another one that was on clearance, and I'm gonna plant it probably like right here, just so that I can get some of this, some shade coming in this way. But during the winter, all the leaves will fall off, because this is actually, I'm facing north right now, but behind me is south, so all the winter sun will come in and warm this shed up if I need to, sit in there and warm up some. Or if I decide to end up turning it into a building, I could possibly live in, rent out, something. Not really sure what we'll do with it. I have one worm tower going on. I just need to get more blocks, get this one lifted, get it filled up. This one's filled with just weeds and some coffee grounds and just a few vegetable scraps. I'm trying to keep the rats from wreaking havoc on it. I mean, they're already doing that to the hugels. We got some tomatoes growing up here. Here's some other plants that'll be going in, other trees. I rescued these, so hopefully I can clip them back, take them home, add some nice greenery to the place. The roosters, 3 roosters that are left. That's the only animals left on the property after the attack. I've got figs. This is just going to be a wild zone here, this little triangle. that I have. See my hand here, triangle down this way. Sorry about the garbage. But this is a wild spot. I did plant like 4 plants in here, but I'm gonna pretty much leave this native to allow like insects, because this is pretty much right on the edge and middle. Should end up doing another one for all the hugels here, and then all these little ones are this way. Should end up probably doing another wild patch, just to allow good bugs, to have a nesting spot. But I've left like stuff like this ground sorrel here. I'll probably take out that big grass, but leave all the goldenrod. So these hugels here are pretty sparse. Now it looks like I probably used more of the top mulch that actually didn't break down. So I'll probably come back here and add more of the broken down mulch, more like a soil or like a humus, I guess is what you call it, because I've picked up big chunks of wood in the mulch about this big and they just dissolved in my hand. I decided to take a couple risks on some bigger tomatoes instead of cherry tomatoes this year and see how well they do. So far those haven't split, but I've seen a few over here that did split. So we were going pretty dry there for a little while, right in my eye. And then all of a sudden we've gotten all this rain. Yeah, here you go. See, this one's split pretty bad. This would be a tomato black creme. So that would be nice to see how that. I've never eaten one. A little trick on the tomatoes, just give them a little jiggle. They're self-pollinating if they've been wiggled, by an insect. Or you can use an electric toothbrush, just zap them. Or you come in here and just kind of give them a little wiggle. The wind will help pollinate them too. So that was a pink brandywine. So I have done a few transplants. I actually bought some, and then I've done a lot of transplant by seed. Like I grew them out and then I transplanted them. So I've kind of done both just to get a couple more varieties just to see what does well here. Every little section in Jacksonville has got its own climate, or a little microclimate. So the north side does get a little bit colder than other parts, because I used to live at the beach and that was pretty much a constant temperature, which was nice. But here it does get a little extreme, the variance between day and night is quite a difference. A little hidden tomato here. It has not flowered. But again, this is like a tea olive. So I'm trying to get a lot of shade or native trees in here first, or let certain things like this ground sorrel or salt bush grow. It gives a lot of opportunities for birds to come into land, pick up insects. Because I sat in my car for about 20 minutes the other day when it was super hot and just watched birds just land and pick up bugs and eat them. And so there's a lot of places for them to land, but I've got, besides trying to get all this growing and producing, I've got to do other things like pick up metal, take it to the recycling, take all this pallets down, burn them, turn it into charcoal, or go drop them off at a pallet place. Just not really sure. I've got all this cardboard. I'm gonna lay down and try and kill off some of this invasive grass that's coming up over here in the front of the property, because I can't pull it out fast enough. Yeah, some of y'all probably saying blackout's not good. I know that, but I got a discount. It's something that I just use as a bulking agent. So I use my broke down mulch compost, maybe mix a little bit of that in there to get some sand drainage, stuff like that. My pot cemetery over here. So let's get back to where we started talking from. So these golden rain trees can grow like 2 or 4 feet in a season. This is only a month and a half old. So And they're just starting to spiral at the bottom. I don't know if you can see any. But yeah, so this is all compost mulch, and this is exactly what you need. It clumps up, but if you wiggle it, it kind of falls apart. And some of it looks like super chunky. But I could have filtered this out and made this a lot better, but it was pretty much a waste of my time because look at this stuff. Big stuff just falls apart. Oh, that one's got a little snap to it. But it's still got a snap, but it's just melting in my hand. I'm not using like any force. So this stuff's great. If you have a place to put mulch down and let it sit for about 2 years, you're gonna get this like perfect tree growing medium. Trees grow on dead trees basically. So this is all just tree and leaf mulch. And it sat there for 2 years, got heated up, cooled down, and then bugs came in. Even people were like, "Oh, you got to flip it. It's going to be all anaerobic at the bottom." I pulled a lot of that stuff up that's against the clay soil that's compacted and everything that is anaerobic, and the soil was still very loose, so that it crumbles apart. It doesn't actually stick on the fork, so I have to move it very quickly to get it into the wheelbarrow. See, this actually I think was close to the bottom, and look, I mean there is some compaction, but it's still so loose because I mean there's tons of worms and bugs in this. So look, there's some like centipede. Ants have been living in it. There's big old earthworms in here. If I can there was tons of them, but they move right to the bottom pretty quickly because they're like snakes. That's how quickly they move. I've never seen earthworms move so fast. These are, I guess, some different variety that likes this clay soil out here. But of course, they've moved into this nice, rich organic matter. Here you go. Here was a dry spot. So this was on top. So this is like all fungi keeping this together. So this is that part that's actually like compacted. And that's pretty close to the top. It's like a paper mache top of the mound of mulch. Then you have like this nice dark mulch, and then underneath that is kind of like the drier stuff. It's like completely dry, and the ants live in that. And then a little bit lower, right on the soil surface, is like this really dark, could be more anaerobic than aerobic. This stuff right here. But like you can see, there's holes in that. Like earthworms are crawling in and out of that, or bugs. So it's not. So they've been mixing some of that clay, because I can kind of feel a little clay. So they've been mixing the organic material and the clay together. That's exactly what I'm looking for. If I go to the areas that have been mulched the longest over here, the stuff is amazing. I mean, the grass is greener and twice as big as my property line. You can almost see it. See, there's a dark green and then the light green behind it. That dark green is actually like twice as tall as the lighter green stuff that's on my neighbor's property. Well, that's a mini tour for you. Kind of messy, I'm sorry, but got limited time. Got a lot of things going on. So this is Mike with Reformation Garden. Over and out.